Take a moment and go back, all the way back, to being born into this world of form. Now, if you can remember, what were your original questions about you here in this life? Do you remember them? Here's mine. What is this place? Who or what am I? What are we doing here? The biggest and most direct questions about our shared existence are so complex in scope, yet so simple that any child can and does ask them every day. These questions never cease. They just become more detailed answers, broader, deeper experiences, or become eclipsed by other focuses as we live our lives. At some point, very early in life, we begin to comprehend that what was once the one, or the monad, has become the 10,000 things. Our comprehensive evolutions at large are designed to intake and process this place of new information, base survival realities, growth, relationship dynamics, wisdom, and the eventual inevitability for the signal of life to submit to entropy. At some point, we look around and our original questions are partially answered by societally correlated information and individual formation models based on the patterns from consistent and intimate individual experiences. When this short life does come to a close and the time arrives to meet our Maker, we hope to have experienced that life is sacred. That our direct experience arrives at peaceful understanding around the time and space between the 10,000 things and our return to the monad. That the experiential tapestry that this language speaks into form through a complex system of interweaving blueprints and relationships grants us gratitude, completion, and love, in life and death. The interfacing of the experiencer with this web of life under pattern recognition of its geometrical archetypes that compose this grand design is the remembrance of sacred geometry. Whether informational or experiential, the difference between this language and any other is that it's not only composed of our words, but our bodies, minds, emotions, all mechanical phenomena of the world, and the very fabric and structure of the universe itself. This implies not just the physical measure of the earth, but all constituents therein. Under this definition, sacred geometry becomes the sacred measure of relationship. Therefore, everything under the sun and unseen is sacred geometry. There are bridges to build. Half of people on Earth, across all belief sectors, report being spiritually touched by the beauty of creation. However, the great disparity between the individual, non-uniform experience of the sacred amongst the consensus of the hyper-empirical is a chasm of systematically enforced indifference. And yet, there are connections and correlations to be had. Sacred geometry is a bridge between both sides, setting the parameters for these correlations between the scientifically verifiable and that which is the great variability of human connection with the divine. Without the map of the informational, the experiencer may become lost. Without the experiential or compass, the map is merely intellectual fodder. If everything is sacred geometry, how do we go about learning this language? Thankfully, we stand on the shoulders of giants. The most established approach is engaging the four classical liberal arts, known as the quadrivium: number, geometry, music, and cosmology. In this, the academic accumulation of knowledge around phenomena is indispensable to seekers, providing some of the clearest mechanics of existential correlation that humans have, through observation coupled with the scientific method. The alphabet, or lexicon of form, dimensionality, growth and creation patterns, universal constants, history and historical figures, architecture, cell division and dense packing principles, EM and mechanical waves, Hertz frequency, sound and cymatics, fractal and holographic embedding, dielectric and electromagnetism fields, the law of octaves, crystallography, chemistry and the periodic table of elements, DNA, atomic geometry, quantum particles and observer awareness, biomimicry, fluid mechanics, vortex dynamics, morphology, time, space, light, plants, fruit, vegetables, protozoa, pollen, fungi, animals, flowers. But it doesn't stop there. Existence has no shortage of relationship. The qualitatively geometrical, which could easily be classified as sacred geometry, quickly and continually diffuses into all areas of life. Genesis, formal elemental designations, dreamtime, mandala, art, Kabbalah, gematria, metaphysics, human energy systems and knotty lines, sacred geography, crop circles, archetypal relationships, biogeometry, Islamic and Persian design, corporate geometry, sigil influence, Indian and Tibetan Sri geometry, masculine and feminine higher principles, psychedelics, meditation, sex, song, play, reincarnation, death. And between it all, humans. Constructed from the language of creation in order to create creations that create creations. You are it. A temporary housing for consciousness, that it may know itself under the flux, trial, and coalescent battleground of 30 trillion cells, 100 trillion bacteria, and 380 trillion viruses that compose the human ecosystem and virome. These numbers dwarf the number of galaxies in the visible universe by orders of magnitude. You are the epicenter, literally driving the universe embodied. The idea that the one pulse that beats all hearts as fractal, holographic, individuated embodiments of the expansive universe as a whole, under this type of scope, begins to feel tangible. The previous list of seemingly diametrically related fields isn't close to exhaustive. All that is formed from pattern, every vibration, is sacred geometry. It's no wonder this expansive fringe topic evades formal education, bridging scientific discovery and the creative meta-realms of feeling and self-interpretation. Just as the fastest way between 2 points under Earth's gravitational force is unequivocally known to not be a straight line, so are the swirling, intersectional arcs that comprise this unified field. Or, as some might say, the unified field of awareness. The study or experience of any number of fields aforementioned with the reverent lens that instigates awe, curiosity, and understanding of this grand design qualifies under the moniker of sacred geometry. As we dip our toes into this existential soup of which we are an integral, unextractable, magnificent ingredient, we begin to hear original answers.